Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Voice Rising. We are here today with the Grammy Award-winning musician, composer, and producer Paul Avgerinos to talk about sound consciousness and his brand new album entitled Devotion. So welcome, Paul, to the show.
Thank you, Kara. It's great to be with you again.
It's great to be with you, too. So before we dive into those really big questions that I love about, healing and chanting and sound consciousness, I thought we'd just start in a very easy place in the here and now. And I was wondering if you can share with us where you are at the moment musically, and if it is true that you have a new album that is, I believe, about to be released on the market. It's called Devotion.
Right. I'm very excited about this new one. It features Krishna and Uttal, Donna De Lory, and Wah, and some other wonderful singers and musicians. And the concept, thanks to my wonderful wife Jennifer, is exciting, fun music that you can work out to, you can work to, you can drive, you can do housework, just daily life kind of music, but it's all sacred mantras. It's all the names of God, and it's all devotional moods and very prayerful and healing. So while you're doing your workout or your housework or whatever, you're also doing inner work and helping your soul's journey in this world. So that's the concept.
That's beautiful. I like that. When we're doing our outer work, I just saw those piles of dishes flashing in front of my eyes and thinking, oh, cool. That's a moment also of being able to do inner work. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, Paul. So, devotion. I was going to ask you something very crazy. Devotion, because I'm a poet and I'm a songwriter. It seems to rhyme with ocean. So what is for you the essence of the word? You chose it for the album cover and the title of the album, Devotion. Is that where life is just flowing through us without any obstacles?
It sure is. Yeah, it's that state of perfect surrendered oneness where we are lost in the bliss and the beauty of existence, and we're one with all of creation, and we feel the joy, the love, the wonder, the power, the brilliance, the fun, the happiness of being one with all that is. And in this day and age, devotion or bhakti yoga, path of devotion and love, is one of the most reliable ways to reach that oneness, to reach that awakening. And, taking it one step further, Deepak Chopra gave me a nice quote on the album. He said, "Who said that spirituality needs to be heavy and serious? The songs on devotion will help you to dance through your life in joyful surrender, and that is the essence of true spirituality." So there's not as much these days, but there's still this lingering feeling in the Western world that spirituality has to be heavy and serious, or it's not authentic. If you have too much fun, you can't be really spiritual. It's kind of a silly. But the truth is that the wiser the master, the more they laugh and the lighter their energy is, and the more, you look at Amma, she's always laughing and she's always uplifting people and putting smiles on faces all over the place because she's free. She's free from suffering. She's free from the bondage of physicality, and so that's a big part of the album. Is I want to take spirituality into that broader area where, hey, this is fun. It's like, wow, I'm singing about God and I'm dancing, but this is really fun. It's like, It's just as fun as any pop song or any dance song that you might listen to, but it has a redeeming value. It has, it really adds something of significance to your life. And I mean, not that pop and dance songs don't help you in different ways, but at the end of the day, they don't tend to have very deep, profound messages. And a lot of times their messages aren't actually positive. They may be fun and exciting, but there could be some negative beliefs wrapped up in all that exciting pop music. So that's something that I wanted to,
No, I mean that's the thing about having powerful messages, right? I do think that there are of course many good dance songs or pop songs or folk songs, and yet there are songs that are continuing to harp on jealousy or conflict or hatred, and that's all going into our blood and bones, basically. And so it is important to have messages that uplift us, right?
Exactly.
Your new album, Devotion, it's a collective of mostly Sanskrit chants, like Om Namah Shivaya and Jaya Ram. So every culture has chants. Why were you particularly drawn to the Sanskrit mantras?
Well, for me, the Sanskrit mantras are especially attractive because they're very easy to sing and they flow out of the mouth in a easy and pleasant way, and they have great spiritual energy in their by their construction, and the Sanskrit is just such a wonderful language for chanting and for devotion because it has so many soothing ahs and ohs and oohs and places where you can really enjoy the luxurious warmth of the language. It's just a beautiful, rich language that has tremendous vibrational power. And devotees have noticed that for centuries.
And isn't there something really magical that if you have sounds such as Om or Shanti, that put it like this, for the Westerners or people that are not speaking Sanskrit or using Sanskrit, my tongue got tied today, Sanskrit, that it's easier to shift out of that mental, intellectual state and drop straight into the heart energy?
Right. That's a very big factor because as soon as we use a known language like English, it becomes more cerebral. We start thinking about what does that word mean, and it has a plainer, less satisfying feeling. There's something exotic and beautiful about the Sanskrit because it's new to our ears. But also the construction of it is much richer. Sanskrit has 49 letters in the alphabet, which is, double English. And of those, 35 of the letters are soft resonant sounds that generate a beneficial vibrational experience. And that's part of the beauty of it. But what you said is very significant, that it's a way to kind of lose your personal egoic awareness and just lose yourself in this great, vast 4,000-year-old language that has such a beautiful power to it.
And I think I also heard somewhere that if you that really the sounds themselves are creating also the how would you say, the shape of the letters. So most people here on the show know the Om, the symbol for Om. And if you're chanting this, let's say they've taken pieces of metal and put sand on top or oil film. I'm hoping I'm getting these stories right. And literally people can chant, and these mandalas and these shapes will start appearing, which is so magnificently beautiful to think that when we're chanting, we're not only putting those vibrational frequencies, but we have different organic forms that are forming through that sound energy.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Yeah. That's very true and very powerful. And it speaks to the wisdom that sound is creative. It is, in the beginning was the word, and first is the conception. I'm going to create this, and then you speak it, and you say, I'm going to make this album called Devotion, and then it takes shape. But with the Sanskrit, like you said, as you chant Om, it actually creates the structures in vibration that are auspicious and favorable, arrangement of energies and molecules that are arranged in auspicious and favorable ways to help peace and balance and contentment and health. And so that's very beautiful. And to think that, just take Om, for instance, such a simple concept word, but you can write chapters on the meaning of Om. It has so many layers. There's so much contained within that. That's another thing I love about Sanskrit. When I was working on the translations for the album, I made a booklet that I enclosed with it to help people understand what we're singing. And it's pretty challenging to make one-page translations of these mantras because the more you study it, you realize, well, there you could look at it this way, and then you could look at it that way. So it's almost as if each practitioner can look at it the way that works for them. You can connect with the mantra in the way that serves you the best, and that might be a little different for the next person, and that's very beautiful.
Yeah. So we're talking about devotion, and also you were mentioning the Deepak Chopra quote and about the sweet surrender being our true essence, and also spirituality being light. Paul, it is love that asks and seeks and knocks and finds and is faithful. And is it love that drives you to that studio every single moment to create all these beautiful pieces of art? I think since the last time we talked, it's been 2 albums that you've released. Is love the driving force behind everything you do?
Oh, most definitely, Kara. It sure is. It's I feel so blessed that I'm able to do this work, and I know that this is my dharma. This is what I'm supposed to be doing in this world, and it's a wonderful blessing to know what your purpose is and to execute it, to actually do what you're supposed to be doing, and then to have people receive it. Well, it completes the circle, and that lets me know that I am doing the right thing. And it's interesting. I was talking with an artist recently, and I was encouraging him to do another version of a tremendously successful work, and he was taking the other point of view. He said, well, I don't want my goal is not to be popular, and I don't want to go back and try to recreate lightning in a bottle. You can't do it again once you've been down a creative road. And I my response was, why can't you do both? You can move ahead with new projects, but you can also honor the universe, if the universe says, I really love what you did, and how the universe tells you that is that lots of people stream it on Spotify and they download it and they listen, and you know they like that. It's helping them. So I want to make another one of those. I want to make more of what serves people. But of course, I also, do new work for me, like this devotion album. I've done things a little like it when I did Bhakti and my Amma album, but this is much stronger and more powerful than those. So it's new for me, but like with my last Deepak album, I was respecting more what people have enjoyed for many years from me. So I think it's important to listen to the universe. What is serving people? What part of our work is receiving the best reception from people and is serving them? And then, let me make some more of that. Let me see if I can take it further, make a better version of that album that was well received. So that's how I look at it.
Or also maybe to honor the roots, right? I think that people forget that the roots are growing deeper on that same tree that's, blossoming big time. So there's nothing wrong with, right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with revisiting.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of saying it, honoring the roots, exactly. When you do a newer, hopefully more nuanced version of that fruit, the roots are growing deeper and stronger because you're honoring that. That's a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a remake. It's actually it's a deepening of, right? It's a deepening of, which allows us, allows us to even grow bigger. We're gonna take a small break, Paul. We're gonna be back in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay?
Great.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. Om Times, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Conflict comes in many forms and often triggers a fight-or-flight response. Some of us gravitate toward conflict, while many will stop at little to nothing to avoid it. Unfortunately, what we resist will persist, which often forces us to face our fear and deal with it head-on. Join me during my show, Conflict Rising, as I discuss the important role of conflict with leaders who have moved through it successfully. Tune in Thursdays at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, it's always darkest before the dawn.
With happy clients all over the world, Kara Johnstad knows that your voice is the missing link to more authenticity, abundance, creativity, and health. An internationally acclaimed voice expert, Kara's breakthrough methods have helped thousands of people successfully heal their voice wounds and extinguish the story of self-doubt and shyness forever. Join in group trainings, attend online sessions, schedule one-on-one time, and invite Kara to work with your organization and community. Get started today. Go to www.karajohnstad.com. and receive a special guided meditation designed to fine-tune your inner voice and welcome you on the voice journey.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. This is Kara Johnstad, and you are here with us in the studio together with the Grammy Award-winning producer Paul Avgerinos, and we're talking about devotion and mantras and sound consciousness. And Paul, you said yourself that Deepak gave you this great quote about how these songs in devotion are going to help us actually dance through our lives in joyful surrender and seeing spirituality as a lighter feeling. I guess I'm misquoting here. The essence of true spirituality, perhaps, being all of it, being the lightness and also the depth. So you've worked with many artists on the new album, and I would like to share with the audience the track Jaya Ram, which you recorded with the Grammy-nominated singer and pioneer in world music community, Jay Uttal. Can you tell us a little bit more about this new release?
Sure. So I approached Jay Uttal about being on the album, and I asked him what mantra he would like to sing. And, of course, being a devotee of Neem Karoli Baba Maharaji, he was given the great Ram mantra, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, and, which he's been chanting for 50 years and singing for 50 years. And so I made a nice arrangement of that, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. And it's a very powerful mantra. It's 5,000 years old, the story of Ram, and, of course, one of the great incarnations of God. And then, of course, we have Krishna Das did a wonderful Hanuman Sharanam, which, is a ode to Hanuman, the great monkey devotee of Ram, who is the example of the perfect devotee, perfect service to God, completely flawless, completely selfless. And so that's why we honor Hanuman so much, because, the joke is that, well, if a monkey could do it, but humans have a lot of trouble being perfect devotees. Of course, he was obviously, much more than a monkey. He's a great, powerful incarnation himself. But, so if you want to play the Jaya Ram, that would be awesome.
I would love to play the Jaya Ram. Here's Jaya Ram from the new album, Devotion. Hey, that was a very cool track, Paul.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of fun to do.
I can imagine. Do you have a personal chanting practice?
Oh, yeah, I very strongly do. Yeah, all day, and even while I'm sleeping, I try to keep the mantras going. But yeah, during the day when I'm driving a car or washing the dishes or doing something, I'll definitely be chanting my own mantra that Amma gave me, of course, and other prayers and mantras too. About the Jaya Ram, Jay wrote something really nice about it that I quoted. He says, "Victory to Ram, the Eternal One, and to his consort Sita, Shri, the divine feminine principle." So this is a great example of the multiple layers of meaning in Sanskrit. So Shri Ram, Shri means in one way auspicious or honorable, or as in, the most honored, or we bow to, a very formal reverential greeting, but it can also mean Sita, the divine feminine principle. So when you say Shri Ram, you can be saying Sita Ram. You can also be saying, the auspicious, wonderful, supreme personality of Godhead. So it's kind of cool how that works. So, if your practice is, let's say you're leaning more towards goddess worship, the divine feminine in this stage in your practice, like I am with Amma, then I might think about that when I say this mantra. But someone else who's in a more in a different place may look at it in the other meaning. So it's kind of cool how it works that way, multiple layers of meaning.
Yeah, exactly. You've written somewhere that it is your belief that chanting and singing mantras is more effective and reliable path to spiritual peace and joy than silent meditation alone. Yeah. So why do you think people are so thirsty for understanding, or for why are they so thirsty for the Indian traditional chanting and really getting these seed sounds deep within their body?
Right, that's an important aspect. Well, in the current age, there's a lot of noise in the atmosphere. There's all these electronic communications, and there's the thoughts and energies of 8 billion people and all the creatures. And it's a very disturbed age. Even nature itself is disturbed, as Amma says, is agitated and disturbed. And so that's why the chanting is especially useful and important in this age, because the vibrational environment is actually disturbed. And so by chanting our mantras and singing them, we're restoring that beautiful harmony between man and nature. We're actually helping nature to come back into harmony, and then nature can reward us by not wiping us off the face of the earth. So it's a very important practice in this day and age. And the meditation is important too, and I continue to do that as best I can, but it's definitely more difficult in this day and age because nature and man is quite agitated, is in a quite agitated state.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think that we can stay in harmony and equilibrium by using these voice and sound practices to tune ourselves. I like to say we can shift harm to harmony, right? If we can do that with sound.
That's great. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Shift harm to harmony.
Yeah, or we can transform harm to harmony. We do have those tools within. So, Paul, when's the first time that you got interested in the Indian culture, in the Eastern culture, in different practices? I think, aren't you originally, I hope I'm getting this right, Greek Orthodox, or coming from?
That's right, yeah. I was brought up Greek Orthodox, but around 74, when I was about 15, I realized that, the awakening began, that I needed to reconnect with the beautiful Indian wisdom of mantras and yoga and meditation and chanting and all the Vedic wisdom. And so I started in earnest at that time studying all that and, becoming reacquainted with it. I think picking up in this lifetime where I left off in the last one. That's what was happening. I woke up and I said, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get a meditation practice, a yoga practice, a chanting practice. We need to learn how to make healthy vegetarian sattvic food, and and it all began in earnest. It was about 74, 75. Yeah.
And when's the first time? Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, at that time I got to became a student with Sri Chinmoy, the Bengali guru yogi who came to America then, and was the guru of John McLaughlin and Carlos Santana and a whole bunch of people in music. So, and he was coming to Norwalk, Connecticut once a week, which was about 15 minutes by car from where I was growing up in Wilton, Connecticut. So obviously that was meant to be. Here comes this yogi guru all the way from India, and where does he come? He comes right to Norwalk, Connecticut. So I could see that this was not a coincidence, that I needed to go and study with him right away. And the fact that he was also the guru of my most beloved musician in the world, Mahavishnu John McLaughlin, was no small part of it either.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And those were, those are really changing times. 1974 was not the big yoga scene. That was like an inner circle of people that were hanging out and doing yoga and listening to that music.
Yeah, right? It was just coming to America and starting to take root and flourish in a more healthy way. And it's so blessed once again that I was able to see that opportunity. And it's interesting that when Amma first came to America, it was 1987, and she actually came to Stamford, Connecticut, which was, I was living in Bridgeport at the time. It was literally 20 minutes down the superhighway. You could have jumped into your car and been there in a blink of an eye. But, of course, I had no idea that she was there, and I didn't know that I needed to be there. I wasn't ready for it yet. But it's just interesting how it all connects together, because in 74, I did have a vision of the Divine Mother appearing to me, and she was beckoning me, saying, come, I'm here, come to me. And she was, beyond attractive and beautiful. She was the Divine Mother, feminine incarnation of God, which is, the most attractive thing that could possibly exist. And but I was frightened by it because I didn't know what it was. I was just reawakening in my practice, and I didn't know who she was. But many years later, actually a few years ago, I realized that actually was Amma calling me. But I wasn't ready. To go yet. It took about 40 years for me to connect those dots, but at least I connected them. So I always say, better late than never.
Yeah, it's like a red thread, right, that goes through our whole entire life. When was the first time you went then to India? They seem to have found you in Connecticut. So when did you go over to India?
Yeah, no, we didn't go. I didn't go till 2015 when we went to become Amma devotees and get our mantras, and that's when we asked Amma for her blessing to have a baby, which she gave us on February 20th, and we got pregnant, and the due date of the baby was February 20th of the next year, to the date.
Wow. Well, congratulations. That's a beautiful story, especially, Yeah,
and she's 3.5 now, and very powerful soul in that young body, very strong. We call her a Kali baby sometimes. She is powerful.
Beautiful. Well, let's take a little.
Going on.
On 80?
Going on 3 million.
She keeps you inspired. No, let's take a little break, Paul, and we'll be back in a few moments to talk about sound consciousness, chanting, and the new album, Devotion.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. This is Kara Johnstad. We are back with composer and Grammy Award-winning producer Paul Avgerinos talking about his new album entitled Devotion. So, Paul, can you tell us how having a spiritual practice unleashes creativity?
Well, that's a very good question and point. I feel that it liberates us to align more fully with our purpose, whatever that might be. So, for instance, a good example is this Devotion album. When my wife, Jen, proposed this idea, my first reaction was, well, I don't know, sweetheart. I mean, I'm not a pop producer. I'm not a dance producer. It seems like a bridge too far. Can I do this effectively? You know, is it something that I can pull off? And, of course, immediately I offered it up to God. I offered it up in my meditation and in my practice. And I to Amma, I said, Amma, is this what I should do? Is this a good idea? Is it going to work out well? You know, all my doubts and fears. And all I got back was, yes, everything's fine. Do this album. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blessing for people. It will be useful for the world. And so my practice made it much easier to do the album, because even though I was breaking new ground for myself, I knew I was doing the right thing, and all the little details just fell into place, you know, and it was a joyful process. And even when I had difficulties, like let's say a track just wasn't sounding right, I just knew, well, it just needs more surrender. You just have to surrender more, and that way you'll know what changes to make. Like your intuition will kick in and tell you, oh, here's the problem. You got to adjust such and such, you know. Right. So it's very liberating, I think, for our creativity. We can work confidently and sincerely, knowing that the bigger issues are taken care of. You know, we just need to do our work and offer it up to God, and they'll not worry about any big big questions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea of sweet surrender, right? That's the idea of I like the fact that universe and there's that verse in there. There's that communication factor. There's that conversation, right? So it's in the name itself to have a little conversation, a co-creation with the universe. You have a track also. It's called Om Guru Mata, Sadguru Mata, Mother. Who is the Guru, the perfect master? And you worked on this track together with the singer Wa, I believe it's Wa Devi, no? Share with us a little bit about how you chose this track and that process of bringing that onto the Devotion album.
Oh, sure. So there's actually three songs that are coming from the Amma world. Om Guru Mata and Lalita and Only Love are all Amma songs that we sing when we're together with her and that Amma sings. But what I did was I got permission from Amma to use the words only and to make completely new settings of the songs, new melodies, new music, completely different energy. And so because Wa is also an Amma devotee, a long-time Amma devotee, I asked her to be on this song because, obviously it would be very meaningful to her. And she did a wonderful job singing on this song. And the Lalita was also going to be for Wa, but she didn't feel she could quite pull it off. It just didn't feel right to her, so I ended up giving that to Emma Chiara, who's that wonderful female voice you heard on the Jaya Ram track, supporting Jay Uttal. And so she's singing the lead on that. But Wa actually composed the melody of the chorus for that Lalita when she was exploring whether she could work on it or not. So she wrote a really cool melody that she allowed us to use on the Lalita. So it just worked out great. All the artists all got connected with the right songs for them, and it just was very auspicious the way it worked out. Like even Krishna Das was going to be also on a third song, the Hare Krishna, but he got tired in the session. He'd already done 2 songs, and he said, I'm not really feeling it. I don't think I can pull it off. And so we put it off, but then it ended up being me and Emma and came out great. It's like the way, it was meant to be, So it's just beautiful how God works, how the goddess works. If you surrender to it, she connects all the dots where they're supposed to be connected, in the most auspicious way. And so that very much happened on this album. I just feel like, Donna De Lory ended up on the JJ Ma, the last track, and that was just perfect for her. Whereas I thought of her originally being on the Only Love, but that ended up being better with Aurelia's Light, who sings the lead on that one. So it's just, it's very sweet how these things work out when we just surrender to the process.
Right, exactly. So let's listen into Om Guru Mata from Paul's Devotion album.
Om Guru Mata
Guru Mata featuring Wa from Paul's Devotion album. So, Paul, do you have a few tips for the listeners who are thinking about starting up on a mantra, creating a mantra practice for themselves? Do you have any suggestions for how to get started in this wondrous lifestyle?
I would say, yeah, it's always good to start. I would say trust your intuition and start where you are. See what is attracting you in the world of mantras, in the world of deities. You know, are you attracted to Saraswati, the goddess of music and art and literature, or Lakshmi, the prosperity and grace, and or is it Krishna, or is it Lord Jesus, or Buddha, or you know, where is your heart drawn? Or is it the formless aspect of God, you know, the pure knowledge of God, jnana yoga? So, you know, I think we need to trust our hearts and our intuition to lead us to that starting point, you know, where what mantra is good. The simple Om mantra by itself has tremendous power. You can make a lot of progress. It's funny, after all I've learned about mantras and chanting, I often come back simply to chanting Om by itself. Very long, you know, deep breaths, and it's very healing and soothing and grounding. And of course, Om is part of my mantra that Amma gave me, so sometimes I'll go into the full mantra, and sometimes I'll just chant the Om. So I think that the divine wisdom is within all of us, each and every one of us, and it's really just a matter of tuning into it, of listening to that quiet inner voice and following its guidance. And it will tell you, will say, go this way, try this practice, try this mantra. And if we listen to that voice, we hear it more and more clearly. And then we simply have to surrender to it and follow it.
Yeah, do you work with a mantra for a long time, and then do you go back then to Amma, or you know, do we sense when the mantra has fulfilled its purpose, and then we get another mantra to deepen the practice with?
Well, that's a really good question. With a Sadguru like Amma, enlightened being, the mantra that she gives us is actually connecting us to her. It's a guru mantra, so it's actually a bridge. So when I chant that mantra, I'm invoking her in addition to the power of the mantra. So it's not something that you need to update or change, because Amma knows what I need. She knows where I need to grow and what my issues are and what I'm working on. And so she's going to facilitate that as I invoke her. And, you have to be careful of kind of practicing, mantra buffet or, mantra of the week club, where, it's the old joke about the person was trying to heal their pain in their foot, and they tried this, and then someone else said, oh, try some acupuncture. Oh, no, you need to get massage. Oh, no, you need to take herbs. Oh, no, you need to have Ayurveda. And so they jump from one thing to another. They never really go deeply into any one practice. And mantra is like that. If it's a powerful, potent mantra, you can work with it for years. But again, if your mantra is not given by a Sadguru like Amma, then you do need to follow your heart there. And if you feel like, well, I feel like I need to try this mantra now, I think that's perfectly fine because you're trusting your own intuition and guidance there. But mantras are very powerful. Any of the mantras on the Devotion album have great power. They all have great power. And you can practice them for quite a while to reap the benefits that they offer. And I think you can also have a kind of a set of mantras that you kind of rotate through, on a daily basis. Like I'm going to do, this one for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to do that one for 20 minutes, and that's a healthy practice too. I have some daily mantras like the Shanti mantra, Asatoma, Satgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityoma, Amridam Gamaya. That's a beautiful, powerful prayer that I do many times a day. And, it says basically, lead us from the unreal and the untrue to the real and the true. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. Peace, 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 the Shanti mantra. And it also has the Loka in it. Loka samastaha sukhino bhavantu. May all beings, known and unknown, and all the worlds be peaceful and happy. So, these are more prayers in a way than they are mantras. But the beauty of Sanskrit is they have great power on the mantra level, but they also have prayer power. So it's very auspicious to do all of these mantras that we're drawn to.
Paul, your music continues. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
sorry. I was just say that.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, the mantras I just described are things that we do when we're together with Amma. So again, it deepens my connection to her when I chant those mantras.
Yeah. Your music continues to bring together people and heal and comfort so many fellow travelers. Tell us a bit more about how people can connect to you and how they can find your music so that they can, because they can have a sweet surrender moment every minute of the day.
Oh, great. Sure. You can go to Round Sky Music, ROUNDSKY music.com, or any service that you like, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora. Just type in Paul Avgerinos, A, V like Victor, G like George, ERINOS, and my music will come up for you.
Paul, it was a pleasure having you once again at Voice Rising. I thank you so much for being with me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Kara. Thank you very much for all your wonderful service.
Yeah, many blessings. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.